Hello and welcome to this remote training session. The topic for today's presentation is Syclo Live webinar. Learn how CareFusion mobilized SAP CRM field service with Syclo. It will be presented by Steve Cassio, Susan Pizzuto, Nathan Bearden, Michael Royce, and Jeff Owens. Before we get started, I need to remind everyone that this session is being recorded. In the recorded remote training session, your name may be visible to other people who are viewing the recording. If you have any objections, please disconnect at this time. At the end of the session, you will have the opportunity to ask questions via the chat panel on the left of your screen. Now, I would like to introduce Steve to begin the presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning, everybody. This is Steve Cassio with Syclo. We're excited to have you here today. Thank you for taking some time to spend with us to learn how CareFusion mobilized their SAP CRM solution, leveraging Syclo's capabilities. We're going to be walking through a little bit of the solution set today, hearing from Nathan and Michael about their what they've realized in this deployment and what their plans are for future plans. Going through this, I'm going to turn over to Susan Pizzuto from SAP briefly just to set the stage for the presentation today, and then we'll go from there. So, Susan, over to you.
Thank you, Steve. Well, it's my pleasure to be here today, and as Steve said, I am the Global Partner Manager at SAP, and I'm responsible for the Endorsed Business Solutions. And I'd like to share with you today what, first of all, an SAP Endorsed Business Solution is, the value of these solutions to the SAP customer base, and to talk to you about our valued partner relationship with Syclo and their SAP business endorsed business solutions. SAP business solutions are carefully selected. They're reviewed and positioned by SAP. They are chosen by our industry experts, and partners participate only at SAP's invitation. Our desire to provide our customers with reliable guidance on how best to complete their solutions maps has led to Syclo's Smart Mobility suite of products being chosen as an SAP Endorsed Business Solutions. It's important to note these business solutions undergo rigorous testing to comply with SAP quality standards. At SAP, we recognize the vital role our partners play in our ecosystem, a community of organizations and individuals focused on a common goal, customer success. Our Endorsed Business Solution program provides a strong foundation of support and collaboration that fosters unparalleled value and mutual business success for our customers, our partners, and SAP. This endorsement should provide you with an additional confidence in Syclo's solutions as part of SAP's ecosystem in action to solve your business needs. Through their close innovation with SAP and collaboration efforts, Syclo has delivered many successful deployments of their SAP Endorsed Business Solutions for users of SAP in industries including utilities, oil and gas, chemical, transportation, telecommunications, and life sciences, where we'll focus today. And since we established our co-innovation EBS partnership over 24 months ago, Syclo has closed over 42 opportunities and mobilized over 35,000 users. These opportunities were closed across the globe in countries like Germany, Italy, Mexico, Denmark, Holland, Belgium, UK, and USA. Almost half are already live and in production. And we're excited to share the news that Syclo announced at SAP's Customer Sapphire Now event this year that their mobile applications will be available for the Sybase Unwired platform in the third quarter of 2011. Enterprises can now benefit from proven Syclo SAP co-innovated mobility applications while standardizing on the Sybase Unwired platform as their single enterprise-wide mobility framework. In my role as partner manager, I have had the pleasure of working closely with the team at Syclo, and I have found them and their team members to be extremely knowledgeable, not only of mobility, but of our SAP products, with a strong commitment to our partnership and in delivering quality solutions and services aimed at maintaining high levels of customer satisfaction. And that's what you're all here to learn more about. So without further ado, and before I turn the mic over to Steve Cassio from Syclo, I would like to again thank you for taking time out of your day to attend our session, with special thanks to Michael Royce and Nathan Bearden of CareFusion for their willingness to share their successes with you, and Jeff and Steve from Syclo in presenting their solution. Steve?
All right. Thank you very much, Susan. So we'll walk through a little bit here in terms of some of the things that we're seeing in the industry. You'll hear from Michael and Nathan shortly on how these trends have impacted their business and how they're looking to identify ways to overcome challenges in the space. Some of the things that we'll talk about are the broad suite of applications available to the SAP user community from Syclo, as Susan mentioned, as an endorsed business solution. You'll hear from Michael and Nathan talking about the CareFusion deployment. And then Jeff Owens from Syclo will be providing a Smart Service Manager for CRM field service demonstration. We'll then summarize the session, and we'll get into the Q&A as well. So as questions come up, please post them in that chat panel, and we will address them at the end of the session. So as we walk through the industry and work with customers like CareFusion and others, industry analysts and such, in asset-intensive and service-intensive industries, there are very similar challenges that customers are facing out in the field today. Customers are seeing that their service streams are being commoditized by the consumers. They're looking at increased customer expectations. We all live in the world of instant gratification today with the way the media gets information out there, the way our business systems deploys information rapidly. So customers' expectations have increased in terms of what their SLA expectations are of you as a vendor to them. Obviously, we have significant rising costs, whether that be rising fuel costs, rising raw material costs that you folks use to make your products and impacts the way you go to market. So customers are looking to bolster the service revenue stream because that's one area that historically may have been viewed as an operation expense, but now is viewed as a critical and vital stream of revenue to support your businesses. Other challenges we're seeing are long cash cycles, long payables, and much of that to do with delayed time to get information into the system, right? Data captured out in the field, getting into the back-end system so that invoices can be sent to the customers. And these are just some high-level challenges that we see in the industry that our customers are telling us are of vital importance to them to streamline their business and make improvements on efficiencies and effectiveness across the service sectors they serve. In the recent past, the mobility solutions in the industry were singularly focused for field technicians or for a single point of use. What we're seeing now is customers are looking for dynamic, progressive technologies, applications that impact their entire business across not just the workforce, but also the back office. For example, we talk about service management, being able to capture customer information, complete service orders in the field, look at warranty information. That information needs to get back into the back-end business system quickly so that approvals can be gained for invoices or costing information and orders fulfilled with the customers. We're also seeing industry trends now where customers have the ability to go into a portal of sort, if you will, and schedule appointments with you as the vendor. So we want to be able to get those scheduled requests over to dispatch quickly and effectively so that you have the ability to satisfy those customers and give them a customer experience that they come to expect and demand. What we're seeing also, the biggest explosion in the industry is the device diversification. Customers not only today are looking for solutions that run on Windows Mobile or an iPad or an Android or any other device, but they may want all of those devices to be supported from a single solution. Our solutions today offer total cross-platform support, meaning that you can deploy the solutions today. You build it once, you deploy it to many. For example, we see a lot of companion device technologies where customers may be using netbooks or tablets out in the field, but they might be using a smartphone such as an iPhone or a BlackBerry as an example for notifications and receipts, where they can acknowledge a notification quickly from the BlackBerry, but then use the more traditional device that has greater real estate to actually perform the service management tasks and services. So what this allows us to do is really to, from a single solution, support all of the different platforms that are out there, the different form factors and devices, as opposed to having to recompile and build them each and every time. So it reduces your total cost of ownership, reduces the the skill sets internally that might be necessary to support a deployment to many different devices in the field. So in the recent past, it was we had a single fit. For example, you had an application, you had an end user audience, and the application was built for the end user audience. Today, we have an application that needs to be available to many end users out in the field, have many aspects of business drivers built into the application, and integrate with a lot of the different peripherals out there, such as GPS, GIS, barcoding, being able to punch out to browser-based applications such as knowledge portals, etc. So being able to embed applications within applications and give that technician, give that user in the field a tool that is not so singularly focused anymore, but more as an enterprise-type mobile application, serving a single purpose around service management, in this case, as Michael and Nathan will speak to, but also giving them the ability to punch out to other important information that might be relative to the service they're providing to the customer, or to asset information associated with what they're working on. So let's talk a little bit about the applications that we have with SAP. As Susan mentioned earlier, being an endorsed business solution partner with SAP puts a lot of responsibility and ownership on Syclo to develop applications, obviously, that are very sound fundamentally and technically, but it puts our applications through a very rigorous testing process at SAP to solution qualify them and put them out to the market. We're able to do this successfully based upon 16 years of history. We're a growing company. We've grown tremendously over the past 2 or 3 years in what I would call a fairly depressed economy. And much of that has to do with our global relationship with SAP, the success that we've had with nearly 800 customers, and the flexibility that our applications bring to bear, being able to integrate with multiple back-end systems. I think if you look at the products and the technology, they're all built on a sound fundamental platform, which will, as Susan mentioned earlier, will be available on the SUP platform coming this September. But we have the ability to reach a very diverse set of customers in more than 30 countries and more than 15 languages based upon the broad adoption of our applications and technology, and certainly as part of our global partnership with SAP. The innovation partnership, as Susan mentioned a little bit earlier, combines really the best of all worlds. You get a world-class mobile application from Syclo, a world-class back-office solution from SAP, and aligned with SAP's world-class mobile platform initiatives around the SUP platform. What the co-innovation model does essentially gives you as a customer an SAP solution that has gone through the rigors of the qualification process, where SAP and Syclo are jointly defining what products we're building, where we're getting input from key customer user communities, such as the CRM Elite User Council sessions and CRM community, to build products that are applicable to many of the industries out there. Today you'll hear from CareFusion again with their medical device requirements, but we're developing those applications together. We're testing them end-to-end, and then SAP is providing level 1 global support for all the Syclo applications. And I think that speaks volumes to their commitment to the application and their commitment to the customer community. So when we look at the mobile applications for SAP, we're looking at field service for CRM as well as ERP. We're looking at approval managers to take workflow processes and mobilize them to keep the process of service management moving forward quickly. And we're looking at our work manager and inventory manager applications in the traditional manufacturing type environments. The Smart Service Manager application really is a tool that, as you'll hear from Michael and Nathan, is intended to help the technicians and the folks out in the field have all the relevant information available to them around the customer service process, all the equipment that might be available, the install base items, giving them instant access to parts availability so that you can schedule your resources appropriately, set proper expectations with the customer, and capture better service management data such as labor, parts used, service details, certainly capturing customer signatures, etc. And we do this all in a solution that has been validated many times across the industry according to guidelines such as the FDA and others. So when we look at, as Susan mentioned earlier, the smart applications running on SUP, this is a critical component of the partnership with SAP to make sure that these applications that we've been building over the last 16 years are strategically aligned with SAP's mobile strategy on the SUP platform. So as you'll see this screen from left to right, you have your SAP environment. Syclo gets installed within its own namespace within SAP as an ABAP add-on. We have our editor tool, which will be installed in that add-on. and the system monitoring tools that are there as well to measure performance and make configurations. And the unwired server, the SAP platform, the middleware, will sit there in the middle as the transactional server, if you will, to ensure that data and information is being sent back and forth from the mobile client to the database in a validated, managed way. We're going to leverage all the metadata in the mobile business objects to ensure that that information is deployed properly. Out on the mobile client, we're using all the Syclo technology set that's been available for the past 16 years, such as the application logic, the user interface tools that are available today and being enhanced significantly, and the configuration tools that are available as well. And then we'll use the component of SAP for the communications and storage on the mobile client. So this is a good illustration of the Syclo running on SAP architecture, as you might expect from an infrastructure perspective. All the mobile clients, as you see on the right, the key to the applications are our applications are developed with the understanding that your users in the field will have times where they need to operate without connectivity. So the applications are 100% available, full functioning offline, and have the ability to be offline, occasionally connected or connected. Much of that might depend on the device that you choose to deploy to or the bandwidth or connectivity methods which you make available to the end users. So let's turn this over to Nathan. Nathan's going to start introducing the CareFusion solution and the overview, and then he'll turn over to Michael Roy. So Nathan, why don't you take it from here?
All right. Thank you, Steve. Good day to everybody on the call. Thanks for taking time to join us and hear our story of our implementation. I'm a field service manager with CareFusion, and I was brought onto the project team to implement our SAP CRM implementation and our mobility implementation with Syclo. So let me go over a CareFusion overview, just give you a little bit of background of what CareFusion is and who we are, some of the business opportunities and expected benefits that we are getting from mobility, and Mike will go through the selection process and the key considerations that were taking in place to go with the mobility vendor Syclo, and then our go-live strategy, what we did for go-live as we went live in February this past in 2011. And some of our lessons learned from the implementation of CRM and Syclo Mobility. CareFusion, we're a global medical technology company in the healthcare industry. We deliver clinically proven products and services for patient care. We really focus on minimizing medication errors and hospital-acquired infections. And we're headquartered in San Diego with around 14,000 employees in 20 countries. So we've got a good global span. We're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Just an overview of our product lines within CareFusion. And we have two distinct groups of critical care technologies, and one of them is the medication supply dispensing division. We have an infusion division that handles our pumps and infusion devices. A respiratory initiative group that handles ventilators. Then our second division is our medical technologies and services, which focus on our infection prevention and medical specialties in the OR suites. Our family of products and services are used in over 120 countries, and as you can see, the names presented here. Our transformation project, I want to talk a little bit about that. I was brought in as a SME for the field service organization for our implementation project. As a business, we went through a business unit change over to SAP. We went for a large transformation initiative, really to it touched all parts of our business, whether it be in our sales and leasing, our customer and field service, our finance group, and our operations group. So it was a pretty large project that we took on to move our system over to SAP. During this, the requirements phase, the field service organization identified opportunities to improve our operational efficiencies and also reduce our operational costs. Our target landscape was a SAP ECC, which we had an existing platform from our infusion division, and our dispensing division, which is our focus for our field service organization, was going to be coming up on the CRM 7.0 platform. 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 A business opportunity for mobility. The field service organization, we were focused, and scope of our project was our domestic U.S. service area for this initial deployment of Syclo Mobile. Our product base is a very diverse customer, and we have a highly configurable product base in our dispensing organization. Our different configurations of our cabinetry is really to meet those customer needs and best whatever suits their needs, whether it be in their OR suites or on their ERs. We have a multitude of different configurations that our customers can use. We leverage field service, CareFusion direct employees, and third-party affiliates in our technician base throughout the U.S. Our response times range from 4 hours to 24 hours, with main focus 4, 8, and 24 as our response time SLAs. Some of the pain points and why we looked at mobility solutions as we were moving over to the SAP platform was our overtime with our technicians and our affiliate expenses. We really have, being in a 24-hour environment in the hospitals, trying to have enough shifts to cover everything, it makes it very challenging for our organization. So that's one of our main pain points. Also, significant travel time between customer sites was a main focus point and pain point for us, that we were looking to mobility to help resolve some of that issues and try and get us more work while we're under roof with one visit. We had a substantial amount of administrative rework. We were documenting it on paper, and then later on technicians would document in a CRM system, which a lot of administrative rework, a lot of data loss and integrity as you go from paper into a electronic system. And we also didn't have we were inefficient access to our device maintenance history. You only had really the call details on the service order page. We really didn't have the device history of what happened previous visits on that particular piece of equipment. And we're also challenged with staying ahead of our scheduled maintenance services. Between the travel time and overtime and non-visibility to the device maintenance history, we don't have the amount of bandwidth to try and stay ahead of our scheduled maintenance. And with our mobile solution, we're looking at to be able to present that work to our employees so they can execute the preventive maintenance while they're on site on the one visit. Some expected benefits for field service mobility. Definitely improve our customer experience. Being quicker on site, getting more work done is less impacting to our customers. So a lot of our equipment, they have to provide an escort since it's a controlled environment with medications. We need a hospital personnel with us. So if we can get in there, get more work done, the one visit, it doesn't have us coming back and having the escorts time again a second time. Really increase our field service technicians' capacity, be more effective and do more at a customer site, whether that's pulling in preventative maintenance work while you're there on a reactive call, identifying those additional service opportunities, and also convenient access to our device maintenance history, which provides that technician, if it's not the same technician going on site, as in multi-man territories, you have different technicians that respond. They really can pull down the device history, see what occurred on the unit on the prior visit. Also reduce operational cost, really looking to reduce our overtime and affiliate costs by, on that one visit, accomplishing a lot more work while you're under roof, reducing those multiple visits to the same site. And the administrative overhead and rework, guys documenting in the evening when they get home, it's on overtime. We want to get to the point of care solution and data entry at the same time to reduce that administrative overhead. Really, this is just a presentation map, but it really gives you the full circle of going mobile, providing technicians with information at their hands or on their mobile device, eliminating redundant data entry, and increasing data accuracy. When you're at the point of care, entering your data, it's a lot more accurate, right? You have you're not trying to recollect, because when you go to paper, you write down something, but you don't remember all the details when you go to enter in the system. So if you're doing the data entry right then when you complete the work, it's a lot more accurate. Visibility to perform additional work at the same site to reduce travel time. We're also implementing real-time parts ordering for better accuracy. And we're also, we have some requirements for our business that we require signatures. And we are able to get a customer signature and provide electronic receipts to our customers, which presents a nice way for customers to keep their electronic documents via PDF, in their online folders or in their email. So it's really providing good customer communication and experience, documents that they can read that are not, chicken scratched on paper. They get a pre-printed PDF of all the call details that was completed by the technician. So that's a little bit about our overview in the business and some of the field service expectations of our implementation. I'm going to turn this over to Michael Royce, and he can discuss our implementation process.
Thanks, Nathan. As he mentioned, I'm Michael Royce. I was an IT analyst working for CareFusion and during the DTI project. So there was a few things that led us to selecting Syclo as our mobile partner. A few things, we were obviously interested in interviewing multiple companies. We were looking at the not only on the business side, the functionality, but from the IT, we're looking at how easy it was going to be to implement as well as to support. So we're looking through, obviously, the vendor demonstrations and customer references, as well as kind of looking at to see who the leaders were in that space. Unfortunately, at the time, and I think still today, CRM, SAP CRM was fairly new. There wasn't a lot of different vendors that we could select from, but we definitely wanted to pick one that was going to be able to work on SAP CRM and had some experience doing that. Some of the mobile platform considerations that we had, first of all, from the business side, we're very interested in, obviously, the functionality that we wanted to implement for our CRM solution. We wanted to make sure that that was going to be on the mobile solution as well. We knew that we were going to have some things that we did at CareFusion that weren't going to be done by other companies. So we wanted to make sure that the mobile solution would be flexible enough to be able to customize or configure to do business the way we wanted it to, and basically wouldn't be locked down to a specific set of functionality. From the IT standpoint, we were very interested, obviously, in the SAP integration. We didn't want a company that was capable of integrating with SAP. We wanted one that had a product that was already integrated. There's a lot of complexity involved in SAP CRM that we didn't want to have to try and figure out ourselves as far as getting that integration to work. So it's very important for us to have a SAP partnership, so that, or the mobile vendor had to have a SAP partnership, so that we felt confident that they would be able to integrate with SAP and not have basically take the onus of getting that complex integration, and so we wouldn't have to be involved in that ourselves. The project went live February 1st. Our plan was to just release the mobility solution on the laptop with the air card. We hadn't picked a mobile device yet, mainly because our infrastructure just wasn't there for supporting different mobile devices. We were pretty much on a BlackBerry at the time, so we wanted to make sure we didn't roll out too much at that one point. So we just wanted to make sure that the application was stable and was working, and get that released initially, and then we'd go live with the handheld 3 to 6 months after we went live. So some of the lessons we learned from the project on the business side, the first thing I think is that we had a lot of requirements when we first started off. Some of these requirements were really core requirements, things that we absolutely had to have day one. Some of them were really nice to have features, and I think it's very important for us to understand what things are really important and what things are maybe less important that could be probably rolled out at a later time. We have to realize that mobility is something that's it's not something that's part of our core competency necessarily. It's something that's going to help us make our process a little bit more streamlined and more effective. But it's not something that's, we just want to make sure that we don't bite off more than we could chew and then end up with a product that's too difficult to realize in the time frame that we had to set up for ourselves. So kind of along those lines, it'd probably be a good thing to avoid a big bang where what we did was not only just the field service with SAP CRM, it was pretty much our entire business was being transformed onto SAP. And at the same time, we're doing a mobile mobile solution rollout, which was probably a little bit more than we probably should have bit off at one time. It would have been nicer if we could have maybe rolled out some of these things in a more staggered fashion. I think that if we had too much change, can kind of impact the organization as far as how much change they can take on at one point in time. We certainly have to have contingency plans in the case where the application, or for example SAP, or the device, or perhaps connectivity causes the solution to not work. And basically we want to make sure that we look at all the different features of a mobile solution. I think especially now we're seeing that there's a lot of demand for mobile applications outside of just Syclo or just email. And so we need to make sure that we take into account users' demand for a lot of other different applications that are coming on the market. From the IT standpoint, one of the things that we felt that was a really strong lesson learned, it's very important to wait until your application is configured and customized before trying to install a mobile solution on top. One of the problems that we had was that we found that a lot of the Syclo solution that we put together had to be reworked as the underlying SAP solution was being changed. So we found that there was a tremendous amount of rework, a lot more than we would have thought, because we're trying to release these both at the same time. So I think that would be one thing. If you can actually kind of stagger your mobile rollout somehow, so you can get your SAP rollout done first, that would have saved us a lot of time. Okay, at this point, I'd like to turn this back over to Steve Cassio from Syclo.
All right, thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. So what we're going to do next, folks, we're going to go through a Service Manager demonstration. Jeff Owens will be providing that. During the demonstration, we're going to focus on some pretty standard functionality around service orders, the ability to see customer data, territory data, entitlements, vehicle inventory, such as trunk stock, etc. So we'll go through this demonstration, and as Jeff goes through the product demonstration, please feel free to post your questions in the chat Q&A. We have several in queue thus far, and we'll be answering them during the QA session at the end. So Jeff, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Let me just go ahead and share my device, and we'll go ahead and show you the demo. Okay, so you should be able to see a device on the screen now. It's an MC55 device running Windows Mobile. Show that one just because it's easy to show during a demonstration like this over a WebEx. But this could be running on an iPhone, an Android device, an iPad, all kinds of different devices. What I've done so far is just logged into the application. So I've put in my username and password, authenticated against SAP, and pulled down my service orders that are assigned to me. And I can see them a couple different ways. Across the bottom on the tabs, you can see there's assignment tabs, or I can see an orders tab, and I can see additional information. I have a calendar view, so I can go into a calendar and see when things are scheduled for me as well. But I'm going to go ahead and go over to one of the assignments, and we're going to scroll down to one, and I'm going to decide that I'm going to work on this particular assignment. So the first thing I want to do on my device is accept it. If I couldn't do the work for some reason, I could decline it and send it back and let somebody know that that's something I couldn't handle. Once it's accepted, I can go into my actions, and depending on your business needs, we can track en route time. So I can go en route, drive to the location. When I get there, I can mark it on site and capture that time difference, and then go ahead and start it when I'm ready to start that order. In this case, just for time, I'm just going to go ahead and go right to starting it. So we'll hit start. It asks me if I want to start my service order assignment. I'm going to hit yes. That could be a different kind of message there. It could be whatever type of information we want at that time. Right now it was asking me for a password because this was in a validated environment. So we wanted to make sure, I got to type it in right. We wanted to make sure that the person that was starting this work order was the authorized person. So we could do a validation, have them put in their password. And now that order's been started, and I can hit my view button, I can go in, I can see a lot of information about this order. Okay, and I could have viewed that before I started as well. I'm going to go through kind of quickly here, show you a bunch of different tabs, some information. We can pull down any information we need from SAP, show it to the user on the screen in a very easy-to-use format. So in this case, I have the tabs down here. The General tab is going to show me general information about the order, the description, the contact name, phone number, required start and end date. Again, these can be configured to your needs. The address tab is going to show me address information about this order. So you can see that information. I may be able to edit this if I am a user with the proper access rights. I can go ahead and edit some of this information. I also have a map button, so I can click on that and I can go out to something like Google Maps and be able to show this on a map. So if I don't know how to get there or I need driving directions, I can do that as well. The items and confirmations tabs I'm going to skip for right now. That's where the worker is really going to go in and do the actual work. But before I do that, I just want to show you the information that they can see if they need to. So I can go into my reference objects. This is my iBase information in SAP. So it's kind of that hierarchy of what we're working on. You can see there's multiple tabs within here to show me all the information that I would normally see in my iBase, whether it's products, it's objects, it's text that was in there. So it's all there referenceable for me to be able to see that if I need to. Okay. The next tab in here is the Partners tab. So I can see, all the people that I may run into at this location. So employee responsible, the sold to party, etc. And I can drill down in there and see more information, get phone numbers, address information from them as well, so that I know who I'm going to be talking to at that location. Okay. Contract and warranty information we're going to pull down as well. In this case, I'm just showing kind of the broad, range of it, that it's a 2-year service and a 2-year warranty on this. I could also have start and end dates, any other information about that contract and warranty information as well. Okay. And again, as long as all of this is in SAP, we can pull it down to the device, whether it's a handheld like this, whether it's a tablet, it's a Win32 device. The history tab is going to show me a history of orders that we've done in the past at this location, either at this location or on this piece of equipment. And this allows us to take a look and see, if we're working on something that was fixed, the same thing was fixed the last 2 times, maybe I need to dig a little deeper and find out what the root cause of it is. It also helps me as a technician when I go into the location to know when we were there last and what we did, so I have that familiarity with the customer, so that they see that I understand their business. Okay, last 2 tabs in there is categories. So again, we're going to pull that down from SAP. In this case, we're working on a monitor. There's a problem with the image and it's not displaying correctly. Okay, and then I have the notes in here as well. So we can pull down the notes from SAP. We can also add additional notes in here as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the Items and Confirmations tab. So the Items tab, this is going to show me what I need to work on. So in this case, I need to do some general maintenance. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say that I'm going to select that maintenance, and I want to create a confirmation for it. So I hit my confirmation button, and now it's going to walk me through a series of screens to collect the information I need to collect. So this is really the only part as a technician that I had to do. The other stuff was all information, things I can see. So in here I can change that category information. So if for some reason I get out there and I said, the image was distorted, it wasn't that there was no image, I can go ahead and change that information. And the same with any other categories. Then when I hit the green arrow, it's going to take me to a notes field, and this note will be on the overall service order itself. So I can add a note there. And then I'm going to go into my actual confirmation. So I can type in a description of what I did, and then I can change the quantity of how many hours I spent on this. So I was originally supposed to spend 1 hour. I needed to spend 2 hours. I can go ahead and add that, and then I can add some notes in here as well. Okay, so I can type in here and say, that I fixed the monitor. Okay, and then when I hit the green checkbox, I've now completed that the confirmation on that item. And if I want to complete the overall order, I can go ahead and do that. You can see I can capture a signature here. Now, normally we'd have other fields here, so we may show, what parts we used, the cost of everything, and then have the customer go ahead and sign. And you can see I just took my cursor here, my little pen, and just sign that on the screen. Hit OK. It's going to save it as a picture file. It's going to put it right within that confirmation within SAP. And then when I'm done with that, it's going to ask me if I want to complete the overall service order. If I say yes, that's going to be completed. And when I go back to my main screen, I'm going to see that one's been completed. Okay, the asterisk is letting me know I haven't synced it up yet. If I was in an online mode, I would send it up automatically. If I'm not, I can hit my transmit button and send it up when I have coverage. One other thing I wanted to show you really quick on here was that we do have stock information in here as well. So I have my normal stock and external stock, so I can check this at any time. But what I'm able to do is go in here, hit my search button, and I can search for stock. And this one is stock that I have in my truck or in my trunk. And I could say, I need a monitor for this, so let me search all the monitors that I have within my storage location. So it'll come up and show me the different monitors I have, the quantity of them, description, etc., so that I can make sure that I have the parts either before I head out there or when I get to that location. And I can do things like transfer those to other people as well if I need to. Okay. And then the external parts is I would go out and I'd be searching for parts, not in my storage location, but anywhere else. So I can search throughout a different plant or for a particular partner or a range of products. In that one, it's gonna need to connect live out to SAP and pull that data back so that I can see that on the device. Okay, so that's my very quick demo through the Service Manager. There's a lot more we can show you, but we don't have a lot of time here. So I'll go ahead and pass it back to Steve then.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that. And folks, that was a 60-minute demo crammed into about 8 minutes. So there's a lot more content there to be had and to show you. So what we'll do now is there's some questions here that have been posted. I'm going to go through those. A quick Q&A session, and please post more as you have them. So a couple of questions. The first one I have here is we want to run applications on mobile devices. Which do you support and how? So to answer that question, presently we support a number of operating systems: Windows, Windows Mobile, the iOS from Apple, BlackBerry as well, and we'll be supporting and releasing our products for Android here in the very, very near future. The second question I have is for CareFusion. It's a two-part question, Michael and Nathan. The question is, what was CareFusion's previous mobility solution prior to Syclo, and with your Syclo deployment, what would you estimate your most tangible benefits or measurable benefits to be? Nathan, do you want to take that?
Previously, for mobility, we were using a BlackBerry device, and we still currently have BlackBerries, but we're using BlackBerry to accept our calls, very basic, just accepting and going on site. And then our users will go into their laptop and go into our CRM solution, enter their data directly in CRM. Since our go live, one of the biggest benefits I've seen is we're still on a laptop today. As we said, we delayed our mobile device to 3 to 6 months here coming up. But our biggest benefit right now is really walking the user through a workflow of entering their data into Syclo that feeds back into CRM. So it really gives that user interface, kind of steps them through what data points they need to be adding, what, screen selections, giving them just enough information on the screen so they're not overwhelmed with a lot of data points on the screen, and giving that intuitive feel of walking them through when they need to put the notes in, when they need to select category codes, things like that. I think that's one of the biggest benefits we've seen so far.
Okay. And I think a natural follow-up question to that, Nathan, from one of the other members that have joined today is, have you folks done, with the enhancements you've done since your first release, have you gone through any upgrades or enhancement? If so, could you maybe describe that process in terms of level of effort? That might be more a question for Michael.
Yeah, I can take that on. We've actually upgraded the underlying technology, not necessarily the product, but we went from Agency 5.1 to Agency 5.2, which basically allows us to enhance the features that you'd see on the phone client without having to worry about the underlying SAP code or the underlying Java code. So we're able to kind of do an upgrade, and it's fairly quick. As far as the amount of work we had from professional services was less than 40 hours, and on our own team it was about a similar effort. I would say that that's one of the key advantages of having a platform where you can kind of isolate your upgrades from a technological standpoint versus the application standpoint. And just to add one thing to what Nathan said, kind of along those lines, I think it's a little bit easier to customize a Syclo solution, for example, for adding validations, than it is probably for customizing the CRM solution, which we want to keep fairly vanilla.
Okay, great. Thank you, Michael. Another question from the audience is, with Syclo customers having deployed Syclo's applications on Syclo's platform today, will they have an upgrade path available to move to the SUP platform should they choose? and I can address that one for you. The answer is yes. Syclo and SAP and Sybase are collectively working as a team to put in place, much like Michael just described, a very non-intrusive, straightforward upgrade process to move the Syclo application running on Syclo's agentry platform to Syclo's application running on the SUP platform. All of the applications will be available for new installations on the SUP platform the latter part of Q3 in September, and then the upgrade scripts obviously will follow on not too long after that. Another question I have from one of the members of the audience, we have over 1,500 field technicians scattered across the globe that would theoretically each have a device. Does your suite of products handle that kind of traffic, so scalability? So the answer to your question is yes, and we actually have customers who have deployed tens of users, hundreds of users, and thousands of users. So we support, from an implementation perspective, single server environments, multiple server, such as clustered environments, to provide you that rollover and load balancing technical approach that you need, as well as virtual environments as well from VM. Let's see, we've got another question here that just came in. Let's see, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm reading two questions at once. We want to run apps on mobile devices. That says it's an integration question. I think we answered that already. So that is all I see thus far. If there are any other questions in the audience, please feel free to provide them now. Let's see, I've got, how easy is it to move existing applications on Agentry to move and transfer them over to SUP? So, and also if it's a non-SAP integration. So to answer that question a little bit, as mentioned earlier, presently today we have, as Michael mentioned, there's the technology upgrade as well as which is separate from the application upgrade. So you would what we're developing with Syclo, with SAP and Sybase is an upgrade script, very non-intrusive, right? As Michael mentioned, they upgraded the underlying technology from one version to another in less than 40 hours. Our goal is to make the upgrade script from Syclo running on Agentry to Syclo running on SUP very much the same. That upgrade script will be available the latter part of this year, and we'll have some more details to come in the short term. Let's see. The second part of that question is to transfer them if it is non-SAP integration. We would take that as an offline discussion, depending on the back-end system that this question posed. We have APIs that we've integrated with for many systems, or we use your traditional web services type integration. But each customer situation might be a little different in that regard, and we can certainly handle that as well. Another question. Does it handle serialized batched managed products? So I'm not quite certain. So if you could clarify that question a little bit, that would be great.
Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Yeah, I think what they're saying there is when we have products that they're going to be using out in the field, sometimes they're serialized, where we not only have to say that we're using a particular product, but it's this particular serial number. And we do support that in the application. So if that's what the question is, then yes, we do support that.
Okay, great. Thank you. The next question is the Syclo server basically the same as the CDB server used in the SAP CRM 7 Mobility? Jeff, do you have an understanding of that question?
I don't know what the CDB server is.
I'm assuming it's the database server used in SAP CRM 7. So the middleware, if you will, whether it's today as the Syclo server or tomorrow as the SUP server, is a separate server from the SAP database server, if that's answering it correctly. And there's many technical reasons for that. For example, if the SAP database server might go down, you have the mobile server still up and running, so those out in the field still have the ability to pull information back into SAP and do their jobs out in the field while the SAP server is being restored. Hopefully that answers that question appropriately. Let's see. As of right now, that would cover the questions. There's several others that are duplicate questions that we've addressed in terms of cross-platform support, the ability to support multiple devices. We certainly would encourage any folks to come in with additional questions. We're happy to answer those, and we'd like to invite you to consider coming to Syclo's mobile conference July 13th through the 15th in beautiful downtown Chicago. We'll have all of our products on display, all of our solution experts, our development teams, and executive management teams, along with our partners at SAP, participating in the event. Great opportunity to meet with your peers and talk about your objectives around mobility and how we might be of assistance. So I guess at this point, Daniela, I might pass it back to you to wrap up the session.
Thank you, Steve. On behalf of the SAP Education, I would like to thank Steve Cassio, Susan Pizzuto, Nathan Bearden, Michael Royce, and Jeff Owens for this presentation. This now concludes the session. Thank you for your attention. You may disconnect at this time.